Hello, it's what, about 11:30 here. Thursday, hard to believe it's already Thursday. I guess time goes by when you're having fun. So let's talk about what I got going today. I'm going to be working on the shower, cleaning up the grout just a little bit more. I am going to be installing the vanity this afternoon. I'll take some video of that. I'm really happy with how it turned out. But let's talk about these bags I have hanging for my trees. Right, my finger right there. So my wife and I operate a farm, if you didn't know that. And pretty much every maple tree on my road, the whole mile, has these blue bags hanging from it. What we do is, since we operate a farm, one of the many farming products that we do make, besides we grow pumpkins and grapes and a few other things, we do maple syrup. It's an agricultural product in the state of Michigan. And I wouldn't say it's easy, but I mean, it is as simple as drilling some holes in some trees, putting in some taps, and then hanging something to collect the sap, whether it's bags. We do bags. It's a lot easier. I don't have to clean buckets. Some people do buckets. The big producers will run literally blue tubing from tree to tree. So we're just going to give you a quick rundown of what we're doing, and we're going to talk about some of the science behind this, because I got something running in the garage that I'm going to show you here in a minute that maybe you'll be impressed with. So let's go in the garage. So ignore any mess. It's my garage. Right now we're in the middle of that remodel, so I've got my ATV and I've got this. This is my sap hauler. Every day after school, or right now every evening, what I do is I get on this and I go up and down the block. And we built this actually in the shop. Hats off to, I believe it was Mike Paris that built this his senior year. And he's now welding for a company that makes signs, last I heard. I could be wrong on that one. But hats off to him. I remember he built this his senior year for us. It's just 1x1 square tube. We've welded up a frame. The tires are just the axles themselves are just 5/8 inch bolts from Tractor Supply. We welded on and then put wheelbarrow tires on. So I don't go flying down the road. I mean, 10 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour. You'll have to excuse me. The garbage man's in the background. Hats off to those guys for still doing their job. And we've got a hopper at the top, so I'll take the bags off individually, or if it's a person's, like a neighbor's property, I'll walk in and use the buckets to collect and then pour it into there, so I'm not driving all over their property with the four-wheeler. And then at the bottom we have a pour spout, so that way when I get back here I can pump it up into holding tanks. So this thing works pretty well, actually. Believe it or not, the barrel, yes, it's food grade safe. It's totally fine. It's a old soy sauce barrel. It was 50 gallons of soy sauce. Obviously we cleaned it out. Syrup's not going to taste like soy sauce, and neither will the sap. But yeah, kind of interesting. When we first got it, there was still soy sauce in the bottom, and it definitely had that smell. So once we get the sap back, it goes into these. These are 60-gallon barrels with screw top lids, food grade safe. They used them in the cherry production. They would actually ship cherries to from Traverse City area to Africa for brining, and then back in these. So it was a one-time use thing, and then we're now using them. We obviously, again, clean them out. And then once we collect the sap, from here, you'll start seeing this. Some of you may be seeing this in the classroom. I was showing a few students because I wanted to build the board for the back. What is this, McMullen? What is this contraption? This is reverse osmosis. It's a simple system used to take water out of the sap. So typically your sugar content of your sap is around 2.5%, 2%. This, once running it through this and then into there, actually takes half the water out of the sap. So what happens is we go from 2% to 5% sugar concentration, or 2.5 to 5. So what does this mean? Okay, wow, you've doubled it. We've also decreased our boil times, because in order to make maple syrup, we've got to take and boil sap and boil it and boil it and boil it until we're almost at a 60% sugar concentration. So what that means is the faster I can boil, the less time I got to sit and boil, and less firewood I got to cut to boil it. So with this device here, what happens is we've got a high pressure pump, which is sucking up the raw sap. It runs it through a pre-filter, because who knows what's in the sap. There could be little bugs, there could be debris, bark that fell on the tree, who knew what. So it filters it out. From there we got a pressure gauge, just so we can monitor pressure. Is it essential? No, but it's kind of nice, because these reverse osmosis filters operate better right at around 100 pounds, which is just shy of what we're running. So from there, goes into the first filter. And now we start filtering sugar, which is what we want. And then it filters it again and again and again. These bottom lines is pure water. Now, if this was in a house, we would save this. This is pure water. We can drink it. Right now, it's going outside. The stuff that we don't want in a house, if we were filtering for house water, we would not want the stuff like the sugars and stuff from the sap. We would just want the pure water. Well, I want the sugars. So the stuff you would normally get rid of in a home extraction unit, we're actually keeping. And it's not fast. This device is averaging, you can see it right there. It's pretty darn slow. But over the next, 6 hours or so, I'll be able to do this entire bucket, which means if I'm out in the sugar shack, what would take, 60 gallons would take me roughly, probably 5 hours or so of boiling. Now I'm down to 2.5 hours of boiling with my concentrated solution. Does it change the taste? No. Does it change the color? No. Is it better? Only because it cuts down on your boil time and the amount of firewood you'd have to process. So that all the big maple syrup producers, if you're buying your maple syrup at Sam's Club or any of those places, they're running huge reverse osmosis machines. Something that is not in my budget. I mean, I guess if we sell the vehicles, maybe I could get something like that, but that ain't gonna happen. So it's a very simple process. Again, we're just filtering, but we're removing the sugar and that, from the sap, or we're actually pulling water from the sap and keeping our sugars in that concentrate behind. We'll probably boil sometime tomorrow, and I'll post a video so everybody can see what it's like to boil out there. But again, it's not fast, and the goal is to have equal amounts of the stuff we want to keep and the pure water running. So out here, outside, I've got it running over to the ease trough right there. That way it can just get away, but it's running at the same exact speed. So again, just built out of scrap wood. Literally, I just took wood from the scrap bin and we put this together. But the machine's running really nice. Everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I'm going to duck back in the house because I got something cooking on the stove right now. Hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions on this, let me know. But I figured something different. Show you kind of the farming background that we do. And it's still related to class and the science behind it. If you didn't think science was important, there's a lot I learned on that one. So, and we do have, I should point out too, how do you know McMullen it's working? I have an actual hydrometer. I'll go grab it. It's right here. We'll float this in both this stuff and the water to make sure the water's coming out at 0% sugar. I don't know if I can actually zoom in on this perfectly or not. Yeah, too far. But anyways, it measures from 0 to 5, 0 to 8. So we'll test both this concentrate, and it's running right now right at about 5%. And we'll test the actual water that's coming off of this just to make sure I'm not missing any of the sugar if I have it dialed in right. And it's running correctly. So hope everybody's doing well. We'll talk to you soon.